Hello, Pastor Kasery here, doing the midweek message again. Last week we talked about the fact that God is a joyful God. He loves to celebrate, and that his deepest desire is to have us to be restored so that we can celebrate and feast together. This week, I want to kind of look at the prodigal or the parable of the lost son again, but this week to think about that story in terms of what we are saved from and what we are saved for. When many of us read that story, we tend to think about what we have been saved from. The son in the story, the wayward son, escaped poverty and starvation and death in a distant country. That's what he was saved from. But that perspective only looks backwards. It does not look ahead to what he was saved for. The son is about to apologize to his dad, and when he's doing that, he's looking back. But the father never responds. He doesn't even acknowledge his son's remarks. He's looking forward, saying very, very quickly, bring the best robe and the ring and the shoes, things, particularly the ring, that are symbols of the son's identity. The son had only hoped to simply be restored or become a servant in his father's house. He was looking for some security, but he was given back his full dignity as an heir with all that includes. In many Christian communities, we focus on what we are saved from. We are saved from sin, we are saved from death, we are saved from damnation, but that's living with a survival mentality. Oh, I survived all of that. But that's not thriving. We weren't rescued by God or restored so that we could just survive. We were rescued to survive. We're not just lifted above the status of being a slave or a servant in the house or lifted up as a restored sinner. We're restored to family status. We're sons and daughters with all those privileges that come with that. Restored to have authority to work alongside the Father. So the question, what are you saved for? To really work hard, like the older son? To seek God's approval? Or maybe are we saved to, like the younger son who just wanted security and a place where he was, going to have regular meals and a place to sleep and a decent living? Neither of those boys seemed very concerned with their relationship with their father. Neither seemed to have a very strong desire to just enjoy the presence of their dad. But that is the dad's goal. That is our God's goal. Paul writes about that to the church in Galatia when he says, what I am saying is that as long as an heir is underage, he's no different from a slave, although he owns the whole estate. Excuse me. The heir is subject to guardians and trustees until the time set by the father, and so also we, when we're underage, we're in slavery under the elemental spiritual forces of the world. But when the set time had fully come, God sent his son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those under the law, that we might receive adoption to sonship, that we might regain our position as children of the Heavenly Father. And he writes, because you are children, God sent the Spirit of his Son into your hearts, the Spirit who calls out, Abba, Daddy, Father. So you are no longer a slave, but God's child. And since you are a child, he has made you also an heir. Not to work really hard, not simply to have the life that you always wanted, but to enjoy the presence of your Heavenly Father. Have a good week. Bye-bye.